We now welcome in ESPN NBA senior writer Brian Windhorst from way down there on the court, Windy. And you have probably spent more time around this team than anybody else. So what is the mood and what was it in that Cavs locker room?
Well, Beats, as you may be aware, a lot of stuff has happened with this Cavs team this year. But on that list now was that huddle at the end of regulation after J.R. Smith's big blunder and after what the Cavs feel is a referee blunder on the block charge. That was not a good time for the Cavs. That was a moment where they needed to rally themselves, and it just didn't happen. They were completely defeated in that huddle, and boy, did it show up in the overtime. They were blitzed. They were never in contention. And so the big challenge for them is to pick themselves up and be able to recover in this first quarter tonight. Klay Thompson is hobbled. Andre Iguodala is out. The Warriors may be as vulnerable as they've been in a while, but if they get blitzed, the Cavs get blitzed coming out of the gates tonight because they're still thinking about the fourth quarter on Sunday. They're going to have difficulties, or on the other night on Thursday. So that's something that they've got to focus on. LeBron James averages 14 points a game in the first quarter coming off losses in this postseason. He's got to have another quarter like that for the Cavs to get off to a good start tonight.
Wendy, thank you. Always depending on LeBron, that is the theme. And, you know, it's easy to pile on JR, but a lot, like he just mentioned, a lot went wrong in the final minutes of regulation. So how does this team come back from that?
Well, the great thing about it is LeBron James had an iconic performance, and I think he's not going to get 50 per se, but he's going to be able to duplicate his dominance. You win the second chance battle, you get 9 more shot attempts, you dominate on the boards. As Wendy mentioned, they're a little bit hobbled. We don't know if Klay's going to go. Iguodala's clearly going to be out. And you come on the road and hope to steal one. That's the mind state at this point. I don't think they will. However, it's important for them to get off to a terrific start. In particular, J.R. Smith, who we showed his blunder late.
The only way you come back from this is you focus on the positives. There was a lot of positive things that happened for the Cavs in that game. They kept it close. They didn't turn the basketball over. They controlled the tempo of the game. LeBron was exceptional, obviously, and he can continue to be because they have no matchup for him. So that's what you do. You have a short memory. You throw that play with JR out of the window. That wasn't the play that lost you the game. There were a lot of things that happened that lost them the game, but you focus on the positives and you take that attitude in the game too and try to steal it.
I just don't know that they can. I mean, it was such an emotional loss. LeBron played his heart out. Kevin Love had a great game. It's like you're telling me that LeBron has to score 51 points for us to even have a chance. You know, just so many variables involved. But when you're talking about an emotional loss, Chauncey, Jalen, you guys know when you lose, and not in this type of way, you're already down. So it's hard for me to see this type of group rebounding from that. This group does not take me as a mentally strong group.
You know what they didn't do, Paul and guys, is they didn't shoot the three very well. And we know that the Cavs are a different ball team when they knock down three-point shots. They didn't shoot it great in game one. So there are some improvements that they can make as well to where maybe LeBron doesn't have to score 50.
Like, I'm talking about headstrong guys, competitive guys that you're like, all right, we're not worried about this. It's time to bounce back. You play with a lot of those type of players. I play with those players. The Cavs team doesn't strike me as those type of guys when we look around at Korver and Love and J.R. Smith. Like, we're going to put this stuff behind us.
That's fair.
Stuff like that may linger on with this team.
Fair.
But here's what he does have, guys that have championship experience. Like, you hope to get a better effort out of Tristan Thompson, out of J.R. Smith, as you mentioned. We talking about J.R.'s last play, but George Hill missed the free throw.
Exactly.
He also won a championship.
I just think they're mentally fragile.
Right. But
as a group, not LeBron, but the rest of his group.
One thing, Bees, they can build on, a lot more minutes featuring Jeff Green along with Kevin Love with LeBron up front. I think that lineup was really positive for the Cleveland Cavaliers in game one.
You're like the pessimistic side of the table. You guys are the optimistic side of the table. You guys have all played. If you're in that Cavs locker room and you're about to step out on this court tonight for game 2, what do you do? What do you tell yourself?
I think for me, like I said, I focus on the positives. And I say, listen, let's get off to a good start. We don't mention game 1 at all. It's over with. We get off to a good start. We try to get JR a shot or two early, get him not thinking about it at all. LeBron, be aggressive. And we all just jump on his back and follow.
They have to play this guy, Kyle Korver, a little bit more, though. I mean, he has a reliable shot. You know, he's a little more consistent than some of these other shooters they got on that team. He has to play a little bit more. But in the locker room, like you say, it has to come from LeBron and T. Lue. He has to get these guys ready mentally and have them focused, ready to go.
Well, they may not want to talk about game 1 anymore, but we do. And this is how big a mistake
That's just wrong.
JR made. That's our job.